Extreme Graphics with an X, a sweet sponsor of DSU Radio.
Outdoor furniture to endure the desert climate. Comfort, easy maintenance, custom made for your home. Outdoor Living, located at 735 South Bluff Street in St. George. Outdoor Living offers in-home consultation and design for custom outdoor furniture. Outdoor Living, a proud sponsor of the radio program here at Dixie State University.
Mom used to scream about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy till Mom went to Al-Anon. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
The Dixie State College of Business are holding a professional clothing drive, helping young DSU students and other members of the community be ready for job interviews and other professional events. The clothes they prefer to be donated are suits, jackets, slacks, blouses, ties, and many more. Their donations can be made to the Career Services in the Holland Building on the 5th floor. For more information, please contact the Career Services at 435-652-7737.
Radio St. George 100.3 FM is a low-power FM signal owned by Utah Local Radio and operated by the students at Dixie State University. We offer classical music during the day, jazz at night, old-time radio shows, music till dawn, along with Access Utah from Utah Public Radio and a variety of talk programs from local community members. We are a nonprofit radio station serving the St. George community. We are Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Your home for jazz at night from 7 until 10. Radio St. George at 100.3 FM.
This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. Creator of Energy Healing by Design, Nicole Ashton, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life-after-death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow into their true authentic space. Nicole, with her natural connection to Source, which has remained open since her return, will help you and your family find the frequency of gratitude and patient love that will assist you in awakening your soul's design. We now welcome you to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to another show of Return to Consciousness live with Nicole and April. We are super excited to be back, and we are so grateful for all the listeners that show up every week to listen to us. Sometimes we do the reruns when we're not here, but and we appreciate the feedback that sometimes when people will revisit an old show, they'll get something different. So I'm really, really excited and grateful for that feedback. Today we have with us Doug Barlow. He's a local here in St. George in this area, and he is a past life regressionist. Some people are unaware of that because it's such a new healing concept. It's a new awakening concept to some, and then some just don't understand. So we felt like bringing more ideas, more tools, more ways for you to experience a way of being that fits you. Imagine that your life is having some kind of difficulties, or you're going through things and emotions that you can't quite put your finger on where they're coming from. Well, in my experience with the past life regressions, is I've been able to find moods or emotions or different kind of things that weren't fitting my life here, and I didn't know where they came from. But revisiting an idea or a thought or a past life was very interesting for me to entertain. And once I did, I could pick up behaviors that literally were brought through a past life that I once lived before. And so we will go ahead and let Doug introduce himself and tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome.
I got interested in past life regression through some authors that I'd heard talking about it, through Wayne Dyer and David R. Hawkins. and started to listen to just recorded ones on YouTube originally. And I had an experience myself that changed things dramatically for me over just a couple seconds of seeing a past life. And so I decided if there was a way for me to figure that out, to guide other people for that, then I wanted to figure that out. And so I contacted Mira Kelly, and she's well-known past life regressionist. And I've also gone to a seminar with Brian Weiss, which is probably one of the best known with past life regression therapy. And I've guided quite a few ever since then and seen the benefits each time of health issues, relationship issues, financial issues, all those kind of things. We have subconscious beliefs that we literally aren't aware they're there. Just for some reason we struggle with different situations like that. And it only takes a couple seconds for us to see a past life memory, and our mind realizes it's not now. And the second it knows that, it seems to instantly release us from that.
Yeah, and through my experiences, I've definitely seen and felt, and I've also saw you work in even a way that before you decided to go on this journey, that just your voice alone and the way you carry yourself would bring people into a higher awareness of their self. So for you to pick, or for you to be called to this this work doesn't surprise me at all. You have that very soothing voice, and so interesting. What do you feel about that someone that doesn't understand that, what would like be the first thing that you would share with them to get them to understand, I guess?
If I understand what you're saying, basically past life regression is I guide you through a deep relaxation meditation. And because we have to get kind of below our daily mind, the one that's worried about the bills, the one that's stressing about our job, that's mad at our brother or sister, whatever the surface the struggles are, we have to get quieter than that. But we all have in ourself that awareness deeper than our normal daily awareness. And what I call our higher self, it knows all of our lifetimes. It knows it knows why we chose this lifetime. It knows why we chose the challenges we have currently. And we forgot from all the programming, all the noise in our minds. And so through deep relaxation meditation, then I call myself a guide, but I don't actually guide it. Your higher self guides it. All I do is help you relax. And I ask real simple questions that basically open up the memory. And your higher self shows you it's not like an intellectual thing. We don't have to study and analyze it. You go through, and it's as surprising to you as anybody, the things you see. But once you see it, you can see how it ties to your life right now. And it makes a huge difference instantly. And a lot of times you feel like a giant burden's lifted off of you, and you're still wondering, did I make that up? Where did that come from? Was it actually my life? So does that answer your question?
It does, and thank you. And you had an experience with Doug a couple of weeks ago. I was unable to make it due to my traveling, but I heard that it was amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I'm grateful that Doug's here because I think very highly of him. And I could feel just by his presence being here, when I'm around him, he's very real. And what he does is very real. And it's something that if you have the opportunity to connect with him, to have a session with him, you'll be able to experience yourself. And so I had a experience with him, and it was a group setting. And it was amazing because when I went through it, it tied me to a past life and this life and in my present life, things that I'm doing. And it was so amazing because I wasn't expecting what came through to come through. And I'm just excited to keep going on this journey because I know from another person that I see in Costa Rica that I have 1,049 past lives. And so it is interesting because when I first thought about, so I guess I have a lot of work to do.
I was gonna say, that's going to take a while.
It's going to be a long session, Doug.
No wonder I can't remember simple things. No. Sorry.
It's okay.
But so anyways, I am excited, but I forgot what I was going to say.
That is okay. So most amazing thing is imagine you're this infinite being and you know it, you feel it, you have these sessions, you have these energy work and which I do, and that's why I can bridge the two so well is there's pieces that I would love to assist people with. But I see their greatness. I see them in their wholeness and I jump in there and we clear stuff. But a lot of people do wonder, well, what did I vision? What did I see? What did they want to know that piece. And so as Doug works and he's able to walk you through your journey of prior lives, you get that information that you seek. And it does actually piece people's consciousness together because sometimes having a memory that's not now, is really it really burdens people and when a memory is released through your body and imagine or in this not even imagine this is just how it is the fundamental of your DNA is you hold a lot of information from past lives, ancestral and so on. So it also when you're walking through past lives, I've witnessed that you are able to break ancestral ties. Things like this that people have been searching for these answers for a long time. It's available in a session. And sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's more. It just depends, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll answer a specific question. Some of the sessions I've done, then people get the dictionary of answers. It's kind of interesting. Each experience varies quite a bit. You kind of have to go about it with an open mind. Mm-hmm. Some of the experiences are symbolic. Some of them are actual past life memories. Some of them are like in between life, or the term I've heard is superconscious. So you see a time when you chose some of the things, why you chose your family members. You see lots of people see their guardian angel. They know that they've known them forever. They see that they've been with them through multiple lifetimes. And one of the neatest things to me about it is you get your own experience. You get your own information. It's not somebody else telling you. That's why I was saying I'm not really a guide in that sense. I mostly help open up the experience for you. But you get your own experience. You get your own information, and you process it after the regression. And you can see more and more as days go by. But it's neat to me because of the way I was raised. I was raised believing in a prophet, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Or I've heard of people going to a psychic and they get information. But in my own experience, then you're kind of like, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's really for me. When you have your own experience, there's nothing like it. There's no parallel to it was yours completely.
Well, and what I like about what you do is it makes sense too. Like something so silly for me is like, I'm definitely afraid of mice. That I hate them. I'm so terrified and scared. It's bad. I mean, really bad. It's bad. And then when I did the group one, it came up that I was under the sewers, like finding the people that needed help. And I was like, I could see their eyes like looking out through the sewer things. You know how when you're walking down the street, you could see, and I could see it. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. I had to go down there. And so I'm sure there was rats and mice. And I'm not so much afraid of rats because my little sister had one and she used to scare me all the time with that. So maybe I got over that fear. I don't know. But I'm still afraid of mice to this day.
Yeah, and I'm excited you brought that up because the past life regressions also are for phobias, things like that are this life. such and as Doug walks you through your experience, you start sensing and really you're in such a peaceful state of being that you can bring up those uncomfortable feelings, because when an uncomfortable feeling comes up, we usually resist, and when you resist, it either blocks or the fear becomes worse. But when you're in that really blissful state, your body's able to release and bring up those memories, and you feel safe to express them. And when they are expressed and they are shared, it becomes outside of like stuck in your thoughts and your body, and it's now workable because it's out in the open and you can release it a lot easier. So that was really important too, because I do have people that they're like, I don't even know what a past life is, and I'm like, well, your phobia is here or what, and you go into just this life, and it's and you call it the mindful meditation. What was it that you called it?
Just a deep relaxation.
Yeah. And so when you're in that, just like when I'm when I'm doing healing sessions, the body heals when it feels safe. And so if a person falls asleep, I'm really knowing that the body is really accepting and allowing their own light in, which is their own information sent by their higher self to direct me to what to do. So when Doug speaks, it's just so tandem, goes hand in hand. It's really complementary. Everybody's different gifts that they have, when you cooperate and bring them into one group to assist people to their highest good, it is amazing the miracles that can happen. So we have had groups for 2 years now.
Yeah.
2 years we've held these gatherings, these friends gatherings, and people, and I used to be the one that spoke the most, but now it's turned into people are sharing their stories and their gifts and being able to really in this beautiful like sacred space be able to share their inner guidance, that joyful self within, and feel safe doing it. And that's been very amazing. And I feel like, and this is just from my lens, but I feel like that we didn't even know that's what we were doing until we really sit down and we're like, wow, you think of how many people have came and gone, and then their life is like amazing, because all of us, like if a new person came in, we would all share our ideas or stories, and then one of us would fit them, and later on, hearing all the stories, I'm like, man, we did that as a group. It was amazing. Yeah. Opening up just that heart, that soulful self, that heart space is there's really no words for the gratitude that we have as being able to share our gifts in such an impactful way. And one of the intricate pieces, did I say that right? Intricate pieces. Yes. is this the past life, the deep relaxation, and so if you want to schedule with Doug, he does do Zoom, so it's very, very amazing when you do it that way, because you can record it, and he'll also do it in person here in St. George. His website is dougbarlow.net.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I got it.
You should schedule one.
Yeah,
you should. You'll love it.
And if you have any questions about either April or I, mine's energyhealingbydesign.com. April's is handshealinghearts.com. And we're all open to answer questions or just be available. And we also will announce next week when the next gathering is. So what do you think is your most amazing, without saying names, and just a short version, that maybe shifted your life while you were doing a past life?
I had a friend come in. I talked to him for about a year to come do a past life regression. He came in. He had several different questions. He wanted to see if he had known his wife in another lifetime, because he's from the U.S. and some friends talked him into going to the Ukraine, and he met her there. So, and he said the second he saw her, he knew he was going to marry her. He knew somehow he knew her. He also wanted to see if there's anything about his boy in a previous lifetime. And then he had some health issues. He'd had stomach problems his whole life. He had some ulcers, he said, since he was a little kid, and he's about 30 years old now. And then he also had hurt his back 2 years before this session. and he had been doing the traction therapy, and it didn't seem to be doing any good, and he was scheduled for a surgery. We did a regression. He ended up being a Viking, and as he was walking through this town, he came up to this. He was going to meet this girl, and when he met her, he knew it was the same person. He says, she doesn't look the same, but it's definitely the same person as my wife. And I asked him what was going to happen, what was going on next, and he said, I'm putting on armor. I think I'm going to war. And I went further, and then I asked him, and he says, oh, it wasn't a war. It was a slaughter. I'm never doing that again. I'm going to tell him I'm never doing that again. And then he went to the people in the military or whatever he was in and told them no. And one of the guys ran him through with a sword. And as he was dying, he says, I want to go back. And I waited for a minute because I wasn't sure what he meant by that. And he says that his soul floated over and saw his wife and realized they had a little child, and that she knew they'd killed him. And he went out of that experience, and we go to the angels and to experience healing and release from that memory. When we got done with the regression, he said, that was amazing. He said, I can feel he's like, I can tell where that sword went through me. And he says, it went right through my stomach and out my back, exactly where my back's been having a problem. And he says, more amazing than that, my back hurt bad when I came in for the session 20, 30 minutes ago. No pain at all right now. And so I waited about a month and checked back with him. I says, how's things going? He says, I haven't had any stomach issues, 0 for a month. And he says, my back is at least 50% better than it's been in 2 years since I heard it. And he said, I have a schedule at the end of this year to still have the surgery. I think I'm going to leave that open. And I says, well, watch. I think your body's already healing. He says, yeah, we'll pay attention to it. And then another month went by, and I asked him how he's doing. And he says, my back doesn't hurt at all. And I'd seen the x-rays before the regression. He had a slip disc or I don't remember, but I saw the x-rays on it, and it was obvious, even to me, knowing there's something there. But he says 2 months after the regression, he was actually going to cancel the surgery because he said it doesn't hurt at all anymore. He said it still pops, and I still feel pressure there, but there's no pain. So that one was a big. He got answers on several different things, and the health things were amazing too.
And isn't that amazing how that from lineage and from past lives, these things that can stick to you energetically, but then we get to remember that we are all energy. We are a spiritual being having this human experience, and as scientists are finally recognizing the energy and the consciousness and catching up to what Einstein told us many years ago, now what I find intriguing is that we as humans don't trust our own inner instincts until science agrees with it. And that's been really interesting for me. It's the heart space. And when I died and came back, I knew in the heart space there's this chamber that if you just open it up and you shine within, then you're going to be your purpose. This soulful self is in there, and this chamber is amazing. And I would share with everybody, and they're like, no. And then Heart Math did disclose that there is a heart brain, that the neurotransmitters are similar to the brain, plus the electrical magnetic field around the heart is 10,000. Is it 10,000 or 1,000?
There's a lot.
Either way, it's a lot times more powerful, or the magnetic field is 10,000 or 1,000 times stronger than the brain itself. However, we're trained from birth to only use our brain. Our heart is just in an emotional space. We think, and then when we stop thinking all with our brain all the time and feel and go with that intuition, you start to you start to return to consciousness, and that is observing it in an unconditional love space. So it's really how everything just is cohesive when you start really identifying intentions, when you're like, hey, we all have the same intentions. And I've asked everybody that's come to the group, what is your intention from the group? But there's like, everyone is service. Like, I have these gifts, and how can I best be in service and be my purpose? And when you have like-minded people and you collectively share and you feel safe to, all these ideas and these ways to help and be a part of a very healthy community is very possible. And even in Haiti, I mean, you're bringing this loving community. What would you call it? The unconditional love you brought it clear over to Haiti.
Yeah, it's amazing because just when I see pictures, like I posted the one last night, I could see it. I could see that unconditional love, and it's beautiful.
And no words there,
but I
really
didn't purposely. That wasn't really like the intention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just naturally happened
by the heart space.
Yeah,
and the
just happened.
The cooperation.
Yeah,
and there's not very many words because they understand a little bit, but not sometimes not the concept behind what you're saying. They might know the word, but
Yeah.
So you have to explain. So I've watched April, and she does it through really movements and actions and sharing the feelings of service and being in that beautiful space.
Yeah, and they know I love them, and I know that they love me, and so it's that love that just makes everything. Love makes everything so much better. It's such a beautiful thing to experience. You don't even have to say it; you can feel it.
We are going to take a short break, and we will be right back for a short meditation and continue this conversation with Doug Barlow and April Betty. And I am Nicole Ashton.
The Ninth Symphony has quite a resonance, doesn't it? And we all know immediately it's Beethoven's Ninth. Or is it Schubert's, or Dvorak's, or Bruckner's, or Mahler's, or Vaughan Williams, to name some of the other great composers for whom number 9 was the end of the line? Hi, this is Bill McLaughlin, inviting you to come along next week as we explore the curse of the Ninth Symphony.
Exploring Music, weekdays at 5 on Radio St. George 100.3. Tuacahn presents Disney's When You Wish. When You Wish takes you on a magical journey with all of your favorite Disney memories. This show follows a little girl's imagination as she discovers Moana, The Princess and the Frog, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Tarzan, Aladdin, Mary Poppins, and many more. Disney's When You Wish. Ticket information at tuacahn.org.
Get involved with the youth sports at the Washington City Community Center. The Boys and Girls Youth Basketball League for 2nd graders through 9th graders are available now. Games will begin December 7th and registration deadline ends November 2nd. For more information and details, please visit washingtoncity.org. The Washington City Community Center. Something for everyone, all in one place.
Radio Dixie 91.3 and Radio St. George 100.3 wishes to say thank you to Stephen Wade Honda Mazda for their support of the DSU radio program. Whether or not you buy, their mission is to have you say, those are our guys. StephenWadeHonda.com.
You've got it made at Stephen Wade.
What's up, sports fans? I'm Easton Smith with your weekly Dixie State sports update. Starting off with the men's soccer team, who will play at Adams State this Friday at 3 p.m. and then at Colorado State Pueblo this Sunday at noon. Over to the women's soccer team, where they play New Mexico Highlands at home this Friday at 7:30 p.m. and then Colorado State Pueblo at home again this Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Volleyball team takes on Western Colorado this Friday at 6 p.m. at home, and then Colorado Mesa this Saturday at 6 p.m. in the SAC. Now over to your Dixie State football team, where they look to continue their win streak when they play Shattern State this Saturday at 1 p.m. for the homecoming game. For more scores, news, highlights, and more, tune into Radio Dixie 91.3.
Hola, te saluda Zoe y te invito a que nos escuches los lunes y los miércoles durante mi programa de 6 a 7 de la tarde, hora local, con música, noticias, invitados y más. Solo aquí en Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
This is Hannah with your Radio Dixie calendar for Wednesday, October 23rd. From 8 to 9 a.m., there is a DSUSA Senate meeting in the Gardner Center, Conference Room D. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., the SET groundbreaking is by the Fountain Amphitheater. And from 7:30 to 9 p.m., there is a Wednesday activity in the Garner Center Ballroom. And that's your calendar on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Listen on your mobile device with the TuneIn app. Search for Radio St. George.
You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 FM. We now welcome you back to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole and April. Special guest, Doug Barlow, who is a past life regressionist. In the first half, we shared a little bit about ways that the past life regression can put you into a deep state of relaxation to be able to either heal emotions, illnesses, things that have happened in this life, or some have had disharmonies in their relationships, in their bodies, and all things that they can't, all sorts of things that they can't quite identify where it's coming from, and through a past life regression, it's actually put them into a state to understand that it can possibly be in your DNA, which I think that's my view. The DNA holds your design, your blueprint from this life, from past lives, from ancestral ties, and to be able for me to break those and work with people in my sessions, I've discovered that through the past life regression, it's also assisting the person to understand what happened, and also even identify some deep underlining things that can assist them to realize that they are an infinite being, and this is and be on purpose and feel on purpose. So we were talking about the gatherings and the meetings and the gifts that we people coming that have amazing gifts, which all of us have amazing gifts. Everyone is born with the innate knowing to be their greatness. You're born a spark of light. You're in unconditional love and in greatness, and that is all that. That's what you are. And so to be able to find the tools to awaken that piece of you that is just divinely on time, I guess, on this time, has what, in my view, is what I see happens through these kind of practices. And so some people come to the gatherings, Doug, that don't really understand that they have a gift, or they're not really interested, but the unconditional love is something that really I hear often. What is your view on that?
For me, when I first started coming to them with you, I always felt the second you show up, then you find out that there's something about this group that is, you feel safe, you feel comfortable. For me, I've grown up in construction, and when somebody tells me I have a gift, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good at driving cars and drinking beer, but yeah. I'm like, I don't know what this gift is. So to me, then it's not, I can see that, I'm like, well, that's cool, but what is it? So I think that to come and join this group of people with a similar intention, the intention of service, the intention of love, then the phrase I've heard is you find yourself in holy company. And that energy helps us to release things that are holding us back. It helps us to solve problems that we can't solve on our own, or it seems like we haven't been able to solve on our own. And there's another saying that for us that want to show up, that is, it's from David Hawkins. He's one of my favorite authors. And he says that we're only responsible for intention and effort. The results are up to God. And I think that's powerful. I think that really, it gives us a lot of freedom. We don't have to take so much responsibility other than our intention and effort. If our intention is love, we do the best we can. And like Nicole always says, and she's talked on the show many times, to just show up. If you just show up, you're halfway there already.
Mm-hmm. And we do, and in the world of the unknown that I live in, the fear of that. I feel that it cripples people sometimes, not knowing what's happening. I feel like once you start doing it, like in the beginning, I was telling you, this board, this showing up in this radio, and knowing that I was asked to do this, I was terrified. I was terrified, and I did it. And as much as sometimes I share the message, and I show up. Sometimes I feel like that's the hardest part sometimes is that taking the first step to show up and jump out of that comfort zone.
But that's the thing. If we don't show up, look at, like, for example, if Doug didn't do what he did and took the time to be trained by the top people and walk in his path to what he does, I wouldn't have the experience and be on the fast track. So I would say fast track to being my highest and best self. And so, it's like, yeah, I went to Haiti 20 times in 4 years. That sounds so ridiculous, but like people have had their own experiences that go with me, and they wouldn't have had that possibly if I didn't step up and go. So our willingness to just, they say, suit up, show up, whatever, just seriously, like, we have to show up. And when you don't want to show up 10 times harder, because when you don't want to do it, you really need to do it. And you never know. It could just be that eye contact with somebody, or it could be, it doesn't matter what it is, just showing up. And we don't have to know everything. We don't have to figure things out. And we definitely shouldn't dim our light because we feel less than, because we're not. We're all equal.
And speaking of unspoken maybe gifts, I don't know, unfamiliar gifts to somebody, is a gentleman, and Doug had an experience like this too, is there is a gentleman that I won't name names because it's client based, but he knew his light, and identifying with it was kind of difficult for him because he didn't know that he, when I would tell him, man, your light, you shine it so, you're just so powerful and have this way about you, just comfort people, and he works construction too, and he just didn't quite get it. And I said, and I shared with him about one day he handed a lady, some money. And I'm a seer, so I was like, wow, you are so powerful with who you are, that you, this lady was going to, she had a plan to commit suicide, and I could see it plain as day. And she had these little kids, and she was at work, and she's like, I can't do this. And she's just planning it. And for this day, my gentleman client had some cash. He didn't use his card that day, and he handed it to her. And just by that touch, her whole life, she went home and she's just like, she felt that there was a reason that she needed to be there, and that lifted that, whatever that was bringing her into that state of not wanting to be here. And I'm like, that is how powerful you are. You don't have to understand your gifts. Just being alive and shining that light is like changing lives. Some people think that they're not doing much because they're not standing out there on the stage, or they're not traveling to Haiti and Uganda and all these places. It's just breathing in and out and smiling and practicing kindness every day is assisting the masses, the collective, because you can see it too. You probably noticed when you go into a group of people that is just melancholy, they don't really know what's going on, but you go in with a really joy attitude, frequency, energy of joy, they will raise up to your vibration. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
I think I feel like we are going to do a short meditation, and then we will talk about how that feels. So I invite you to sit back and relax. And if you're driving, then turn them, maybe not close your eyes and
or just pull over.
And healing knows no time or distance. So this meditation will show up whenever that you're ready for it. And some may understand it, and some may accept it and allow it. And maybe if you don't understand it, you can just shelf it for later and come back. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes Imagine the most beautiful, illuminating white light. And when you see this light, go bigger, wider. Remember that there's so many shades of white light. Choose yours. Bring it down through the top of your head, through the 7 energy centers through your body. In Sanskrit, they call them chakras. And as each one of these energy wheels, energy cycles are moving through the core of your body, imagine this white light just spinning in the most delightful way. As it moves down, feel it in the pelvic area, moving all the way down your legs and right into the heart core of Mother Earth. And imagine Mother Earth shares everything. She multiplies everything. So as you're focused on this beautiful white light, and just embrace that love, that unfailing love of creation. Go to that joyful space. What brings you joy? Joy is unconditional love in motion. Be that. And as you send it down to Mother Earth, you breathe it back up through the crystalline caves, through the dirt, the clay, the grass, up your feet, legs, right up through the core of your body and out the top of your head. Really connecting you to everything above and everything below. And remember, that love you send down is multiplied by 10. Feel it go through the very core of your body. Feel it in your heart, just exploding with joy. Think of the infinite possibilities. No limits. And as it moves out and around your body, it's clearing and cleansing every center. And it moves out to the organs of your body, the cells of your body, the blood and the bone. And as this beautiful cycle of life is happening, imagine your body expanding. And as you breathe in a deep belly breath through your nose and out your mouth, you're breathing in the white light. And you're breathing out any toxic energies or ties that no longer serve you. And you take a breath in, deep belly breath in. And on the out breath, the white light moves all around you, circling your auric field in this beautiful, beautiful light of creation, of unfailing love. Some may feel like it tingles in their fingers or their feet. And if you have a heaviness or a pain, breathe that white light into that area and breathe it out. Using this clearing process to release and receive the beautiful light that you are. Feel your heart just opening up with that soulful self, that childlike joy that you were born to be. And imagine the white light moving, clearing, and cleansing like a waterfall. And imagine this beautiful tree trunk, very grounding, moving right up your feet, your legs, through your body, and just move that out your arms and really ground into this earth, whatever's grounding for you, sand or rocks or put your feet in the sandy water and just really be in this unfailing love and this joy. And remember that anytime that you have any sort of disharmony in your body or in your energy fields around you, that this is a process that is easily done, less than 5 minutes. And it will connect you to your soulful self, that pure light that you are, and you move it in your body, and you move out the stuff that doesn't serve you, and you practice this day. I do it morning, noon, and night, and it really releases the stuff from myself, and because toxic thoughts that sometimes come, that I'm human, I do have those, or toxic energy that I picked up from other people, and sometimes I'll be having a really interesting thought, and then I do this exercise, and I realize that toxic thought, that toxic reaction, was because I had just been around somebody that reacted like that, and I picked it up. Not that I don't initiate my own toxic stuff. Sometimes we all do. But when you sit with that and you're in that uncomfortable space and you're like, wow, is this mine? That's actually one thing that you can do is you hold that white light. Because when you're in your soulful self, that's truth. That's your truth, not anybody else's, yours. And you will have the intuition of a yes or a no immediately. And so you go into that space, you bring it into the heart, you ask that question and go with your first answer, because we always want to make stories and talk ourselves out of what's best for us, right? Because that's what we do. You have this amazing thought, and then you're like, but this, but what if that? Well, I don't know. Well, what will she say? Well, I don't know. Did I make that up? And you forget what that amazing right answer was, that works for you. And that's just part of the human behavior, that these little processes and practices can actually help the biology of belief, because you have this gap. You have this time to really have a heartful conversation with your soul and ask, is this my truth? Does this feel good? And you know what? If it doesn't, reevaluate, revisit what you're doing, because sometimes we try to fix a solution with old thought processes and the same people that we keep playing the game with. Sometimes you just need to take a step out of that and go right to that heart space, and you will find your inner shine, your inner truth, because the only one that knows it is you.
That's true. You know what? I was were you going to ask something?
No.
I was thinking when you did the meditation, I did love it. I love bringing in that white light. And last week I was in Costa Rica, and I love trees. I just do. The trees are so beautiful, and the beach is over there, but I really just love the trees. And when I was doing your meditation right now, I was just remembering all the trees. And I went to this community where the indigenous live. And one thing that I kept coming to me is they thank everything, and they ask it like, so now, like, when I see a tree, like, is it okay if I touch you? Is it okay if I hug you? And then after I hug it or touch it, like, thank you. Like, always asking and thanking.
Yeah.
And just staying in that, when you stay in that kind of, just being the way you conduct yourself, you're going to have a shift in your life, whether you want to or not.
I just learned something, because I don't ask to hug. I'm a hugger, and sometimes I think I just hug. I should probably ask, can I hug you? Because I'm just like an innate hugger, so that just like rang in my head like, oh, wow. If you have to ask it.
I never thought of that. Even when I went in the ocean, I was like, may I go in you? Like, I just practiced it when I was there. I obviously need to re-practice it because it came to me right now. So
yeah. I remember when I was with them in Michigan, the indigenous did also
the same.
Shared that, but I
so
forgot.
Cool. Yeah.
So how was your experience, Doug?
I saw a pastel blue-green light. And it went down into the earth, and then when it came back up out, and you said to send it back up, then it seemed like it was like fireworks above my head, and around me was that same color light. I couldn't see anything, but as soon as it went out, then it like what I could see was crystal clear, like it went high definition, clear. Can't talk right now. Crystal clear around me, so I could see. In high definition around me is interesting through the meditation.
Sometimes that happens too. That for me, when I go into those, I can't close my eyes when I'm doing them right now because I have to be in both. But it seems like right after, it's the voice. It's like forming words. Sometimes they don't work for me, as you guys have both witnessed many times. Yeah. when we bring these shows together and these groups together, it's always community building, and it feels so good to be able to serve in this level of light and assist in such different areas, but all complementary, all in unconditional love. And like you're sharing before, it's the intention of love. It's the intention of love. Now, when you think love to me is no attachment. No attachment to the outcome, no expectation. That's true love. That's a love, because we have all these emphasis on it. I love you more. True. There's so many words before and after, and I'm like, you know what? Love is no attachment to the outcome. No and it starts when you just look at somebody that way. That is so pure, so pure, and you feel, that is when you feel safe to explore who you are, be who you're going to be, and find self-love. So it's that pure heart space. I love it. Yeah. This is an amazing show today, guys.
It is.
Yes.
It makes me think of my higher power, and I know he loves me unconditionally no matter what. So, like, growing up, I was a little bit fear-based, like, religion-wise. I used to fear, my higher power, which is God to me. And now that I'm an adult and I'm sort of growing up or trying to grow up.
What? Don't use that word here.
I didn't say I'm a grown-up. I said I'm trying or sort of thinking about it. It just makes me realize, like, you know what? He loves me unconditionally no matter what. So a lot of those beliefs that fear-based make zero sense to me, because I can't fathom that someone who unconditionally loves me, would do some of the things that I believed in the past. And when you let go of those kind of fear-based things and step into that pure unconditional love, it really makes a difference around you. So it is a big step to go inward, but you'll have a great, outcome when you do.
Well, it actually starts there inside within, until you can heal that inside piece of you. I mean, once you do, you heal your world, and you heal your children's, you heal the past and the present, and the future. When you dive in and take that time to do that, it makes a huge impact. And I do believe and trust that, Doug, you have been able to walk people through those pieces of healing their self from past and present. Yeah.
Each person's experience is definitely different. It's definitely unique to them, but they see things and understand it. It's almost beyond our minds, the understanding. We think we got to learn, study, work hard, but it seems to be, you just see it. You see it in such a simple way, and you feel released from it. You feel released from burden. Sometimes you don't even know what it is. You just like, man, I don't feel like I'm packing that backpack full of rocks around that I didn't even know I had earlier, but it's gone.
Yeah. Those rocks and those crystals, they get heavy sometimes, but he means your old crap.
The ones you don't want.
Stuff doesn't serve you anymore. So we are very, very excited to be on again next week. We'll be here starts at 4:05. You can always reach out to me, energyhealingbydesign.com, or follow us on Facebook, Live with Nicole and April. Energy Healing by Design Facebook, Hearts Healing Hands, and also DougBarlow.net. And he also has past life regressions with Doug Barlow. So
on
Facebook. Yep.
Yeah.
And we will be here next week. We're gonna talk about spirit, and it's so close to Halloween, and there's so many ideas. We're really just gonna like hit all of them and have fun with it. And I think I'm gonna challenge April to dress up.
Oh, I have tons of costumes.
Oh, that wasn't a challenge at all.
Nope. Do they have to be appropriate?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Well, it will be. Oh, she's blurted out. So thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you next Wednesday at 4:05. Have the most amazing week.
You've been listening to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole Ashton, creator of Energy Healing by Design, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow in their true authentic space. For audio and/or video of this, go to Facebook or YouTube, Podbean or Spotify, and search Radio St. George or radiostgeorge.com.